This is the Lexus UX, and if you are not a 40-plus female empty nester, you can skip this review, unless you're a member of the so-called young and ambitious generation, in which case Lexus also believes you may approve of the car your mother is driving. Consider yourself warned, and now let's see if it's any good.
Lexus UX is a subcompact premium crossover. It competes with the likes of Audi Q3, BMW X2, DS3 Crossback, Jaguar E-Pace, Mercedes GLA, Mini Countryman, Range Rover Evoque or Volvo XC40.
These cars are like fashionable jewelry that goes with trendy outfits, something I clearly have no idea about. However, I do know that despite of what you may think, all of the above-mentioned cars cost more or less the same and have similar dimensions. And the Lexus UX is the longest of the bunch.
Yes, the UX is almost 4.5 meters long, Range Rover Evoque is the widest at almost 2 meters, and Volvo XC40 has the longest wheelbase of 2.7 meters. Cars in this segment not only look different, but are also good and bad at different things. If you want to take a longer drive, I suggest Range Rover Evoque, not necessarily BMW X2. The Evoque is also the most capable off-road and the most expensive. The UX, on the other hand, stands out with bold design, which Lexus introduced a few years back in the IS. It's definitely out there with the X2 on the lifestyle end of the spectrum.
UX is short for Urban Explorer, so we're talking city car. The looks are polarizing, but I say go to the showroom and look at the car live, because pictures don't do it justice. You'll appreciate little details like these rocket ship-like tail lamps. According to the press release, there's an aerodynamic benefit, as this design eliminates turbulence and increases stability in the corners and during crosswinds. So maybe this is more than just an Urban Explorer. Can you pack stuff in it for vacation?
If you're a 40-plus woman and you vacation alone, then yes. 334 liters to the window line, including underfloor storage, is what you get in the Hyundai i20. Subcompact crossovers usually offer around 450 liters of cargo space, and in the UX, if you decide to go with the hybrid, you get even less. 320 liters. Go for all-wheel drive hybrid and the boot shrinks to 283 liters, which is about the size of Mazda 2 luggage compartment. On the plus side, you can open and close the boot with gesture or using one of the two buttons on the tailgate. One also locks the car. There are shopping bag hooks, and instead of a parcel shelf, there is this thing, which theoretically could double as a sunshade. You can even fold it like a sunshade. It's easy to store.
I am also moved and touched by how the Lexus engineers decided to go about fixing the floor in the open position should you need to take something out or put something in. Clearly, they ran out of ideas with the Toyota parts bin, so they went with something simple and tested. Good luck doing it with one hand, by the way.
Theoretically, there are ISOFIX anchor points in the back, as well as two USB ports, but if you're a tall 40-plus woman, then your less popular friend gets the back seat. Legroom and headroom are not class-leading, and definitely go for light upholstery. Since you'll be traveling alone, it won't get dirty, but it'll just make the interior seem bigger. When getting in the front, watch your knee. The seat and the steering wheel move out of the way when you turn the engine off, but the lower part of the dashboard ends dangerously close to the place where your kneecap goes by every time you get in. Just like in the Dacia Duster.
Once you stop seeing stars in front of your eyes, you won't be indifferent to this cockpit design. You don't have to like it, but you'll appreciate all the different lines, textures, and levels. Keeping this interior clean is a nightmare, so better get a car wash membership or pay your grown-up and possibly unemployed kid to do it. Even freegans need a hot meal once in a while. Just say it's ecological leather and they better get to work, because you've been paying for their lazy ass for the last 20 years and all they do all day is sip soya latte. I also have a few reservations about functionality, but in general I like the interior design. I like how the infotainment system issue has been addressed. My guess is that women, 40 plus, don't listen to CDs and have no idea what WAV, FLAC, ALAC and OGG Vorbis files are. They just want to pair their iPhone and stream the best of Fado. Hey, my friend had it worse because his girlfriend at the time recorded a 90-minute tape with Unbreak My Heart by Toni Braxton on both sides. Both ended up trying to cut their wrists, albeit separately and for different reasons.
Anyway, controls for one of the worst infotainment systems out there are now grouped around the touchpad and something that looks like one of those coin holders that taxi drivers have. In fact, it holds a couple of buttons and a volume knob, which is the only thing you'll really need once you pair your phone. Chances are you'll use your phone as the sat-nav and the media player for those Fado's tunes through the Mark Levinson audio system speakers. And you can even put your phone against the screen. Brilliant! There are buttons to access all the important functions. Don't try fiddling around with the advanced climate settings because you may activate S-Flow, which cuts AC in the zones where it thinks nobody's sitting. Well, I had passengers in the back and there was no airflow until I turned S-Flow off. Just leave it alone.
The glove box is tiny. Also, storage under the armrest is not particularly big, although Lexus claims the UX has the biggest storage in the center console in its class. Well, I guess it's bigger than in the BMW X2.
If you use cup holders, your drinks will obstruct the lower row of buttons, and a tall bottle will also touch the upper row. The lower row is for heated and ventilated seats and heated steering wheel. The top buttons are for climate control. Door bins are also small. Lexus UX interior may be interesting, but also very cramped for relatively large exterior dimensions.
I will admit, when I first heard about the UX, I was afraid it's going to be a rebadged Toyota CHR or even worse, continuation of the CT line. However, the UX is a completely different car. You buy a CHR because it's practical. The UX is not exactly practical. It's a car you buy because it goes well with your shoes, not because you actually need to drive someone in it. Like the CHR, the UX is built on the new global platform architecture thing, and like the CHR, it's decent to drive, the difference being that the CHR is underpowered and the UX has just about enough power for what it can handle. The CT couldn't touch the UX. On the plus side, the steering is nicely weighed and the car is pleasant to drive through long bends. It's no Porsche, but it's sufficient for the 171 horsepower it's got. There is a system braking inside wheels to counter any understeer and improve stability. The top F-Sport and luxury trims also get adaptive suspension, which limits body roll and improves comfort on bumpy roads. Most of the time, the UX is a really comfortable car. The power seats with memory function are also very comfortable. Visibility is okay and there is a 360-degree camera to help you maneuver, as long, of course, as you don't keep your smartphone over here, because then it will obstruct the camera view. However, at higher speed, the UX becomes unpleasantly loud. It's not about wind noise or engine sound under hard acceleration, although the DCVT gearbox makes sure that's quite unpleasant. I'm talking about the droning, constant droning at about 130 kilometers per hour. It's not a problem when you drive slower, but if you drive at a constant motorway speed, it is unpleasant. Lexus also has better driver aids than Toyota does. The active cruise control can be a bit twitchy, but active lane assist works. The car won't adjust the speed to speed limits, but it will inform you about them. There is also a bright and easy to read HUD. However, as far as I'm concerned, there's just too much going on in the instrument cluster. Instead of separate areas for different notifications, something keeps popping up in one area, and I find that distracting.
The Lexus UX accelerates from 0 to 100 km/h in just above 9 seconds, from 80 to 120 in 6.6 seconds. There is no problem overtaking, and I don't expect anyone will try racing it from the lights. That kind of 40+ women simply buy powerful BMWs. The manufacturer claims average fuel consumption is under 7 liters per 100 kilometers. Combined, I manage this much extra urban. Lexus UX prices start at €34,000 for a 2-liter, 171 horsepower, front-wheel drive petrol model. Add $2,000 for a hybrid and another $3,000 for all-wheel drive. All-wheel drive is available only with the hybrid drivetrain. The hybrid is somewhat quicker and more economical than the petrol car. This is the top luxury line trim, which starts at €47,000, and with some options it goes up to about $52,000.
The Lexus UX is one of those cars which I like despite its quirkiness. This is not an ideal car, by far, but the design is coherent and the UX does what it says on the box. It's an urban explorer, not a Landjacht. It's a trendy crossover for people who no longer need to do the school run. And how do you like the Lexus UX? Let me know in the comment section below. Subscribe, rate and share. Join me for more new reviews every Friday. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.